All right, we are back. Dynasty Trades in 5. I'm Clay.
I'm Shane. Happy Combine Week.
I'm Scott, and I benched 185 9 times without a spotter earlier today.
Nicely done. Yeah, so welcome, Dynasty Trades in 5. So tonight, the idea for this show is, we're always talking about those the 2022 first, and now if we're not in the top 4 or 5 picks, we're already looking at punting towards 2023. So I figured we'd have a show where we talk about these top picks. Maybe it's just a couple in this 2022 class, kind of attach some names to those picks. And if you have a later first and you can't sell it for a 23 first, what should you be doing? Should you draft there? Should you try to move up in an uninspiring class? Like what's the plan there? So we'll see where this goes. Shane, go ahead first. What's your thought on this class? Like you said, happy Combine Week.
I somehow like this class less than I did 3 days ago. Basically because all the running backs are just trash cans except for Breece Hall. And apparently Kenneth Walker is now the RB2, which that doesn't make me feel good about life. There's no reason that Kenneth Walker should be the running back 2 of any class. It was fun watching Malik Willis throw against air. I don't know if you guys knew, but he's athletic apparently. So that was cool watching that at the Combine, everybody getting excited about Malik Willis being athletic. I'm pretty sure that was never a concern. I think the 101 did pick up value. Like I said, the running backs have tumbled a little bit for me. Scott might disagree. I don't know. If you've watched the last couple shows, I was all over Kyron Williams. And then he went out there today and he weighs 194 pounds. And I run faster than him.
4.7 burger. Yeah.
I'm faster than him. And I challenge him to a foot race to prove that I'm wrong. And I don't think he'll beat me. Wide receivers, we were just talking about that. I think people are starting to double count. I guess that's the phrase, right? Like some of these guys were good and we knew they were going to be fast, but then they ran really fast. And we were like, whoa, I didn't know they were that fast. If you like David Bell before he ran a 4.62, you probably still like David Bell because you never expected David Bell to run fast. You're excited that Drake London is only 6'4". So I'm all over the place. I'll let Scott jump in. He's more scattered. He's more targeted, and then I'll just cut down his.
He's more scattered. Actually, no, he's
he's completely opposite.
What do you think, Scott?
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm not scattered, but I think the Combine. So this was my hope, was everyone knew like kind of where I dug my heels in prior to the Combine, right? We've been talking about it for months, what the cutoff line is for the 2022s versus 2023s. I think the issue with the Combine is twofold, is we've seen really nobody that has jumped into that elite tier make us say, okay, now I have to maybe expand my tier by a pick or two, to where if I was holding the 106, I was on the fence on what I wanted to do. I've probably already spammed for a 23 first and possibly have been rejected. So I'm sitting here at the Combine. I don't think the receivers move around at all. All the receivers do is basically cement themselves where they did. Mm-hmm. None of the top 5 or 6 receivers really crushed themselves. If you look at like the mock draft data, the 5 receivers that were projected to go in the top 5 all did okay. So nobody is telling us like those guys are going to fall down. Like maybe the order changes. Maybe they get drafted a little bit different order in the NFL draft, but I don't think it changes. Like I knew those 5 receivers were going to be top 10 rookie picks in Superflex anyway. That hasn't changed. I think what's changed is we've seen really no additional hype for the other quarterbacks. It's going to be like Malik Willis and then maybe Corral, but then it's really just going to be draft capital and landing spot. I think it could be 1 quarterback. It could be 3 or 4.
Well, one thing on the quarterbacks, though, because we have to bring it up, and this is another thing where the Combine, certain things do matter, right? The thresholds. Kenny Pickett having 8.5-inch hands is not good because he's not super athletic. He doesn't have a super powerful arm to begin with. And you throw in the fact that he has some of the smallest hands that's ever been on a man. Not good. I think we all saw the list. Marcus Mosher, someone put out a list of every quarterback since 1999 with clean hands. Literally, there was one quarterback that was any good, and it was Michael Vick.
What were Joe Burrow's? Because I remember that was a
9.
big thing.
9 flat.
Nine is generally considered, and I hate being this guy. 9's generally considered like the
list of other under 9. I saw
That's
that
like
list, and it was bad.
Mendoza line is 9
bad.
inches for
and
hands.
it's and you know, look, people want to make, and I get it. Trust me, it's fun to make fun of like, oh, you nerds, 9 inches, 8.5 inches, like it doesn't matter. He's just watched the tape. Well, if every player that has hit, at a certain threshold, if every player that doesn't hit that threshold has sucked, there's something to it. You know what I mean?
And that was going to be my criticism is Wan'Dale Robinson, 5'8", 0 percentile arm length. So, okay, he can still be good because he produced in the SEC. I'm betting on an outlier. Isaiah Spiller, 30-inch vertical leap, horrible broad jump, decided not to run the 40. So he's going to enter the draft basically as a 20th percentile or lower athlete at running back. Okay, fine. Kyron Williams, 194 pounds, 4.72 40. Okay, he can still catch passes. But when you immediately see, well, Austin Eckler was similar. Look what he's done, David Bell ran a 4.65. I think that was the adjusted time. Well, Cooper Kupp and Keenan Allen, look how they've smashed. They ran a 4.6. People are starting to talk themselves into the guys they already liked. That's not what I wanted from the combine. We already know these 5 receivers. We already know Breece Hall. We already know Matt Corral. We already know Malik Willis. Dude, there's 8 more guys that jumped into first-round consideration. That's what I wanted. That's what we're not getting from the combine. So great. We're going to have 7 or 8 pretty decent pedigree players in this draft. If you're talking first-round receivers, first-round quarterbacks, day 2 running backs, and then combine that with guys with profiles. Great. I don't want to have to be picking those receivers at the 103, at the 104. I don't want to say, oh man, I don't know who to draft, so I'm just going to draft the receiver. That's my issue. The class is going to have good players, but I don't want to be. I feel like my early picks where I'm picking like 101, 102, 103, that's probably going to be pretty comparable to previous classes, but I'm not going to have a choice. I'm not going to have 6 guys to pick from at the 103 that I feel comfortable about. It's going to be, well, there's 3 guys or 4 guys, and I'm going to have to take one. 106, 107, I better hope that the player I want in that given league falls, and I can't get a 23 first. So those picks are just 50-50. And then I was saying earlier, if I'm picking at like the 202, the 203, those picks by the time we get to on the clock in the draft are going to be so devalued where it's like you can't even get the Mike Williams types for those picks. People are going, I don't know, I'm not going to do that. And you're going, dude, Mike Williams is like wide receiver 50. You know what I mean? And you still can't trade the 201 for a player like Mike Williams. The price on veterans is going to rise when people realize that those picks aren't in demand. So I'm better off sitting and drafting the wide receiver 8 in the class that goes off the board in the mid-second. I'm better off adding that to my portfolio than paying for what the veteran market is, because the beginning of the class is going to push everybody out of the middle picks, and they're not going to be worth anything. So you're better off picking them. So that's my only contention with the combine is I wanted everybody to smash. I didn't think this class was great, but I wanted people to think it was great. So in the next 2 to 3 weeks before free agency, I can go, okay, these picks are worth more. And it just hasn't happened. So that's the big issue with the combine.
So one thing, and we'll see, it'll happen. Running backs are going to start getting pushed up because of their landing spot. Like you talked about landing spot, like Michael Carter last year, except Michael Carter ended up being pretty good. Running backs are going to get overvalued. They always do. What's going to happen is Breece Hall, although you should trade absolutely everything and you have to get up to get Breece Hall or Treylon Burks or Malik Willis. And then just, I don't care about the rest of the class. Just pick whoever's on the board if you can't trade out. You're not going to be able to trade out. Fine trading the 105. And the only deal I can make is I'm getting back the 109, the 203, and then the 207. I'm fine with that because I don't have any more conviction between the 105 than the 110, to be honest with you. Honestly, it's 3-player class for me. It's Burks, Malik Willis, and Breece Hall.
What names would you add to that? Scott? We've got Breece Hall, Malik Willis, and Treylon Burks. Let's throw a couple more names in the hat. Top 6 here. You're on mute.
I think you have to add Garrett Wilson to that. He's going to be probably the first receiver off the board. He's going to be a top 15 pick. So, I mean, yeah, I think you could take all. I don't even care who the players are. If they're a first-round receiver, they belong in the top 10 of a rookie draft in this class because there's not going to be any other players to put in there. So if you're looking for, okay, I can't get out of this pick, who am I going to take? A third round running back, the fourth quarterback that went off the board at pick 31 in the draft, or a locked in, top 25 pick at receiver? Yeah, your receiver could bust, but I think if you're trying to avoid, go risk averse with the pick, I'd go with the receiver. I think the other thing is that, and maybe this is an angle to try to work, is I think if you can't get out of your later picks, I would, and this is going to sound crazy for me, I would consider a 23 first to trade into this class, but I want the 102. I want the 103 max. Like, I'm not going in, because I think the top 2 or 3 players, whoever they end up being, are going to be equivalent to like Javonte Williams, Trey Lance type last year. Like, pretty similar outcomes. 105, 106, it's a major drop off. But if I can't get rid of my 111, I'd be okay giving like a 111 or 112 and a 23 first to get the 102. If it's guaranteed that I'm getting like Willis or Breece Hall, then maybe I'm okay making that move and not trying to go the other way. Because I don't think I'm going to be able to trade the 102 for a 23 first plus. You know what I mean? Like, other people are going to be like, I'm good. So I think you could move to get back in. Just a thought. I think that
but again,
the first couple picks, I'd be willing to move it. Once you get to like 104, 105, it's too risky, especially if it doesn't match up with my team needs. So just some options there.
And that's the thing is the needle is thin that you have to thread.
Yes.
It's literally like there's, and look, there's going to be guys obviously that hit from the 106, the 107, the 19, the 110. There's going to be guys that hit from 203. I don't know what I was doing, but ranting.
Let's talk about trading. Let's talk about trading into the 102. All right, I'm going to throw out some options here. See how pricey it would be. Would you rather have the 102 or the 107 and 109?
102.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect deal. You move up, take the 2 for 1. Yeah, most classes you'd say go the other way, not here.
Rather have Elijah Moore and the 109 or the 102?
Oh, I'll take the 102. I'll take Breece Hall there.
Yeah, I think Elijah Moore is probably worth a mid first. He's equivalent to like one of the first 2 receivers off the board, maybe a little higher. So yeah, I think that's a fair deal.
Okay. How about DJ Moore and the 110 or the 102?
I mean, I've said I would give up the 102 for DJ Moore, any of those receivers inside like the top 10, top 12. It's interesting because if Breece ends up being, what people are talking about, early second, late first round pick with the way that he tested and clearly separated himself, he moves into the Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, same realm as those guys were in 2020. You know what I mean? The top 4 or 5 running backs, like he's right in that mix. He's almost like equivalent to Javonte, depending on the landing spot. So I think it's hard to trade off of him now.
If he ends up in a spot like how Najee did, where he's just getting a ton of volume, he's better than Najee Harris. He's going to crush. I like DJ Moore a lot. He's a wide receiver too. I can find one of those. How many top 6 running backs can I find? Like Breece Hall's already going to be moving in the top 6 if he puts up a decent season in his rookie year. So I'm going to take Breece Hall.
I mean, Travis May on Twitter just tweeted after Breece Hall's testing. We didn't think we'd have a first round running back. We may have one.
We shouldn't.
But given this draft, and you see a guy that's literally separated himself from the entire pack, and you get the 5th year option, like that could be a team that goes, "Hey, I'm a win now team. Let's just draft him." Buffalo or Kansas City or something. Just like this is the guy. This is the guy that put us over the top. This is the guy to change our running game from what it's been. All of a sudden, he jumps into the first round, and you're going. So I think Shane has a point. If it becomes Willis and Breece, I'm comfortable trading into the 103 and just banking that somebody out of like the 4 or 5 guys rises to that 103. You know what I mean? Where it's just everybody wants them and I can move off the pick. I think that's the kind of the cut line. So I'd be comfortable with the 103.
Let me give you another one here. So would you rather have the 103 or the 112 and a projected late 23 first?
No, I'm taking the 103.
Yeah, I think I'd still flip the coin on the 23 first. You can say projected late, but that could be a team that gets knocked off in the quarterfinals and it's the 108 or the 107. So I'd take the 23 first. That's a great trade. I think that's the kind of trade, if there's a clear cut like top 3 or 4 players, That's exactly what you're doing, and you're just going to take a free shot at that 112. Like, you just expect the 112's a bust. You know what I mean?
All right. As always, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. If we earned your business, hit that subscribe. Definitely comment below with your thoughts. Give us ideas for other shows. We love hearing from the community. Talk to you soon.